Hello everyone, my name is AJ, welcome to my studio, and sorry for the pause there, I was making sure my phone was actually recording. This is my third take on this video, technical difficulties. So let's hope that it actually works this time. So, what are we going to do today? Well, we are going to be talking about inspiration and motivation, all the while I'm going to be just drawing something on the paper. So I've got the sketch pad, I've got myself a ballpoint pen. I'd recommend that for anyone who just wants to do some sketching. It'll teach you to be deliberate with your lines, and it'll build confidence. And I've also got myself a good cup of coffee. Almost gone now due to so many takes. So let's get into it. So, inspiration and motivation. What are they? Well, by their dictionary definitions, motivation is a drive or a reason to do something. Like, I'm pretty sure if you were walking down the street and you had a mad dog chasing you, a chihuahua for instance, I'm pretty sure you'd take off running. I'm kidding about the chihuahua thing, even though those are nasty, nasty little creatures. Or maybe you've got a deadline to meet at your job. Then I'm pretty sure you'd be motivated to do so. Now, what about inspiration? Inspiration is a creative spark, I guess you could say. It's a momentary burst of clarity in your creative mind where ideas start flooding in. And there's also another thing that could be included in the artist repertoire, but I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. Stop to go figure it out. Because I'm lazy that way. Now, how to get these things? Well, for motivation, creative motivation, maybe give yourself a reason. So, some things you could do is, like, say you're accustomed to working in one medium. Say you're accustomed to working with markers. Try working with something else. Maybe, seeing as it's a wet medium, try a dry medium, like chalk pastels, colored pencils, maybe graphite pencils even. Maybe, build your knowledge of values doing so. Or maybe you want to try a different wet medium instead. So you could do this like paint, for instance. Or maybe even try a different a different kind of medium entirely, like clay. That sounds like fun, actually, working with clay. Haven't done that in years. Anyway, or maybe give yourself a challenge. There are many, many different challenges out there. You can find hundreds of challenges on YouTube or Instagram, and a bunch of other things that could get the creative juices flowing, give yourself motivation. Like, there are seasonal challenges, like, especially in October, you'll find a lot of more spooky challenges, like there's the Inktober drawing challenge. There's the one I'm going to be doing called Goretober, not for the faint of heart. And tons of things like that. Or there are other more random challenges. Hold on a second. Like, for instance, drawing upside down, or like drawing upside down. I'm not literally meaning suspend yourself upside down. I mean, like, you take your canvas or your paper and you flip it upside down and you try and create a drawing that way. Creates a very interesting perspective. Like, it didn't even look like a person for a moment there. There's also the offhanded drawing challenge, which is as straightforward as it sounds, and all of these can give you motivation. And usually, I've seen a lot of people get inspired at the same time, which leads right into the next point, inspiration. So, inspiration is a lot more touchy, and I would definitely say that you don't want to rely completely on inspiration for creativity, because then you're limited to only when you like get this sudden burst of clarity, like the heavens opened up and shined a light on you. Unfortunately, that can leave you in a bit of a rut, and it severely limits when and how you draw. Now, sure, you could probably come up with a masterpiece every single time, but if you're only getting inspired once every 2 months, that's not a good way to build up a portfolio. And I'm not saying that inspiration is bad, far from it. Just don't rely on it. Now, what could you do to trigger inspiration? Well, there are numerous things, one of which is, of course, picking new mediums, because I've seen numerous artists on YouTube, especially, where they tried new art mediums. Like I just watched earlier an artist, he was trying gouache, which is like a fancy watercolor paint almost. He got inspired to draw almost like a child's storybook style illustration because of the way it looks. And he included his son. Yes, I'm going to be mentioning the artist, Draw with Jazza. I would definitely recommend checking out his channel. He's a brilliant artist, and he's such a fun artist to watch because he's so personable. He's not fake at all. Anyway, that's another thing that could inspire you is look to other artists for inspiration if you've kind of gotten yourself in a bit of a rut. So, you're sitting there, you want to draw with every fiber of your being, but nothing's coming to mind. Maybe do what's known as the 5, 10, or 20 style drawing challenges. That all depends. Where you look to popular artists, or some of your favorite artists even, and you choose a random character. Maybe you have an OC, an own character, original character, and you just, or maybe just use yourself, depends on you, and you draw it in those 5, 10, or 20 different styles. It's a very good way to enlighten you into different methods. Like, maybe this one artist draws the eyes a different way, or maybe their proportions are a little different. Perhaps they handle the way they draw proportions entirely. Like, for instance, one that's really intrigued me simply due to the stylistic choice is Bayonetta. Because, have you seen those legs? Gotta keep it clean here. But seriously, that proportionality is ridiculous, and yet it works so well because she's supposed to be a bombshell character. And it works so well. And if anything else, I would definitely say that that's one of the best challenges to try, is the draw this in X number of styles challenge. You can choose the number. You could just do 3 if you wanted to. There's another artist on here that, on here, well, YouTube, yeah, here, that only did 3, and his OC actually, in the fairy tale style, looked exactly like Gray Fullbuster. It was hilarious. So, so say, for instance, you're not motivated to draw, you don't have any real reason to, like, maybe you're just a young artist, you haven't gotten commissions yet or whatever, and you're not feeling particularly inspired. What do you do then? Well, you could do one of two things. You could try and stimulate yourself, and that's completely possible. It's not outside the realm of possibility, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like, right now, I wasn't actually feeling too inspired to draw. I'm just literally looking over my shoulder, if you hear my voice get a little quieter, at a painting I have yet to finish, and I am putting it down on paper, using nothing but a ballpoint pen. It's not a bad thing. I am drawing a blank here. It's only like 9 in the morning. Even though I've been up for a couple of hours already, it's still kind of a brain fart moment for me. What am I trying to say? I wasn't feeling inspired, but I was motivated, because I wanted to get something recorded, I wanted to get something done. Now, I am technically still inspired, but due to reasons, I can't really do what I want to do. And that's not necessarily the worst, but it's also kind of annoying. And if you're not feeling particularly inspired, you're not motivated, you really don't want to draw at all, that's fine. Or maybe if you are motivated, but nothing's working out, don't force it. I can say from experience that if you try and force any kind of illustration when it's not coming to you, it'll be detrimental to your walk as an artist. Because you'll actually destroy any self-confidence that you have. If you want to get something done, then just do a little random doodle. Don't try and create anything off the top of your head. Some things you can do to really help with this. Yeah, I'm just going to segue right into self-confidence. Say you want to draw something, but you can't create anything off the top of your head. Then look on the web. If you don't have a Pinterest account, that's fine. You don't necessarily need to have one. But maybe search your favorite game franchise. Or your favorite TV series. Whatever it is. And choose a random picture. Maybe you choose a random character. So, say for instance, I were to look up my favorite game series, one of my favorite game series, which is Tekken. And I just choose one character at random. In fact, I can already think of a character that I'd want to draw. And just choose a photo of them, and try and emulate that style. Generally, this is a good trick. It inspires you, it builds some technical skills, which is very good to have, being an artist, and also, you learn some new tricks, like how did this artist, sorry about that, that was a nasty burp, handle the face, how they handle the proportions, what did they do to get this particular effect. All of these kind of things and more are very easily accomplished simply by looking the artist up. I can't stress enough that this is one of the best ways to just draw when you don't feel like drawing, because it just helps. But if all else fails, step away. Don't, under any circumstances, force what isn't coming. Because then it'll only stress you out more, you'll continually become more and more demotivated, and it can actually put you in a bit of a rut. So if you got artist block, which is what it is, step away. Go do something else. Maybe go for a jog, go work out, go watch some TV maybe, play the computer. Don't even really think about the artwork right now. Because artwork should be something you enjoy, but if you're always getting frustrated at it, are you really enjoying it? Is it really something that you're finding fun if you're mad about it? If you say yes, then I think you might have to go see a shrink. It's not worth letting yourself get so mad that you're about ready to put your fist through a wall. That's a little exaggeration, but the statement still holds true. So just step away, go do something else entirely, don't think about the artwork at all, and maybe after you've had your respite, you can come back, and maybe you've got an idea. So just go for a walk around your town, walk around your city, maybe take a drive downtown, and go see the sights. And maybe the landscape, maybe the buildings around you, will inspire you. And if they do, ta-da! Inspiration, instantaneously. It's like opening up a can of ramen. This may sound like a pretty mundane thing to do, but I can assure you that if you were to try it, it can work wonders for your self-esteem as an artist, as well as get things done. And it doesn't have to be a final piece. It could just be a random sketch. Like, this isn't going to be a final piece at all. I'm just giving you something to look at. But I am working it. I am doing it to the best of my abilities. It's just nothing more than a random sketch. But I'm kind of liking the way it's turning out. Sorry, I cut off. I just stop and think sometimes. I just gotta double check something here. Okay, good. Whew. Technology, I despise it sometimes. And maybe look to your friends as well. Maybe ask them to give you ideas for inspiration. When you're a young artist, maybe just beginning, don't immediately assume off the bat that you're going to get commissions, that you're going to get paid. Don't be afraid to give out a few freebies once in a while, because you got to get yourself out there somehow, but don't let it become a permanent thing. Once you've gotten yourself established a little, I'm not a professional artist. I am not near that stage yet. I'm working at it, though. But maybe ask them, what would you like to see? What would you like to see drawn? And they'll give you ideas sometimes. I pulled that on one of my coworkers once, and he just wanted a red dragon. All he said was red dragon. He gave me the liberty to do whatever I wanted, and bada boom. I got it to him. As far as I know, he still has it. I've never been to his house. Probably never will. I don't want to come out of there smelling like drugs. But it got myself established, and I've gotten a few small commissions since then. My first major one was a caricature. Can't say that was what I wanted to do, but I'm just going to lead right into it. This is going to be more of a ramble, but it has a basic theme in mind. Commissions are never really what you want to do. They're what the other person wants. You can kind of have a specialty, but if they want something in particular, and it's done in a certain way, you're going to have to abide by that. It's just the law of the land here. But don't let them try and control everything, because it is, after all, your piece. I've heard some stories of commission artists who were so controlled by their client that the client changed the drawing like 8 or 9 times and eventually didn't want the piece. But you know what? They never got reimbursed for it. Because wasting an artist's time can really weigh on their creativity, because you're wasting their time, for one thing. That's time that they'll never get back. And you're also sucking every last bit of creative juice out of them. It can really weigh down on anyone who's even remotely creative to just control them like that. And it can lead to a artist block, because they feel like, well, no matter what I do, it's not good enough. But I can assure you, it probably is good enough, and that person just is trying to play with you. So, don't get discouraged, but if they aren't satisfied after your efforts, then tell them it's with you. Choose whatever is closest to what you want, and that's what you'll get. And if they don't choose any, then maybe give them a bit of their money back, because, well, otherwise it's kind of stealing, but that's up to you. Personally, I don't know, it depends on the person. Maybe if they were doing it deliberately, then no, they wouldn't get their money back. And that can lead to a roadblock, and I'd say just hang up the pencil for a few days, close the sketchbook, close commissions, and say, I'm not doing anything for a little bit. Gotta get myself back together here. And that's alright. Stopping art is not saying you're quitting. All you're saying is, okay, I'm not feeling too inspired right now, and I just need to be able to sit and think. Maybe I just want to do something else for a little bit. And as long as you never actually truly give up, I would say then you've done something good. Because, after all, it is your mind that you're working with. It's your creativity you're working with. It's your inspiration. So stopping to take a breather, because it is like a muscle. I see creativity, I see artistry like any other muscle in the body. And if you overwork it, you're going to get sore, and it's not going to want to move properly for a while. Go ahead, I dare you, right now, pause the movie, and go do push-ups until you can't push yourself up anymore, and then go about your daily work. I can promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, that your arms aren't going to want to move the way they should. You're not going to be able to very easily even lift a cup of coffee, because your arms will be dog-tired. And the same can be said for creativity. It's in my way. It will just make you feel less inspired. You'll be burned out, which is another thing you got to be careful for with creativity. Burnout will make you unwilling to do, simply because you have no desire to, do what you love. Whether it be singing, drawing, painting, sculpting, anything. It can lead into this disgusting rut. But if you're burned out, go ahead and try and rest and recover. Don't make yourself do anything, because otherwise it'll just lead to trouble. And just wait. Wait it out. And then come back later when you feel a little more rested. It takes more than just like sleep, though. Burnout's a stress-related problem, which can be caused by caused by many different things, and it can really affect your artwork. So I guess this is motivation, inspiration, and other things, and things that could affect your artwork in positive or negative ways. Jeez, that almost sounds like a wordy title for a psychological motivation book. Alright, I think I've pretty much covered everything. Just gotta double check. Okay, yeah, good. Alright, so I think that's a pretty good place to stop. I hope I enlightened you in some way. I hope you found this somewhat